You know, I think lenses are like money. You can never have too many. And every PMA that we come, there's more lenses to talk about. I'm here with Tom Sobey from Sigma, and he's going to talk about 5 of their new announcements here. So, Tom, well, take it away. What do we got to look at?
Okay, Dave. Well, as you mentioned, we have 5 lenses that we're showing at the show. The first one is a new ultra-wide zoom for digital cameras with APS-C sensors. It's a 10 to 20 millimeter lens with a constant f3.5 aperture. And this will supplement the current model lens that we've been offering for some time, which has been very popular, 10 to 20 with an f4 to 5.6. But for the advanced person who needs something a little more faster, prefers to have a constant aperture, you'll be able to get this new f3.5 lens. The optical performance should be excellent. It uses a lot of low dispersion glass and spherical elements. It features the ring type HSM autofocusing system, so it's very quiet, fast autofocus function, and allows for full-time manual focus as well. It'll be available in all popular mounts, including the Sonys and the Pentaxes, as well as Canon, Nikon, and Sigma.
That's great. And what's the price point going to be on it?
I don't have a set price yet, but I'm imagining it'll probably be in the $600 to $700 range street price.
Okay.
But again, the firm price hasn't been established.
It's a little bit higher end unit than the current one, obviously.
Oh yes, yeah. It's an EX series lens, so it's one of our professional lenses. We'll provide a 4-year warranty with it in the United States.
Great. And when do you expect to see that out on the market?
This will probably arrive in the summer, probably early summer.
Oh great, just in time for the vacation vistas.
Right.
All right, let's take a look at the next one.
Okay, the next one is what we categorize as a kit type lens, but it's sort of an upscale kit lens. It's an 18 to 50 millimeter lens, which is fairly commonly offered with digital SLRs, but the difference will be this is a fast aperture lens. It's an f2.8 to 4.5. It also features internal zooming as well as internal focusing, so it always has a constant length regardless of what distance or what zoom setting you're using. It will feature the hypersonic motor for very quiet, fast autofocus function, and will also feature optical stabilization, Sigma's own proprietary optical stabilization to help compensate for camera movement when you're shooting under marginal lighting conditions. And this will be available, again, in all mounts, including for Sony and Pentax. So Sony and Pentax users will have the option of using their own inboard stabilization in the camera body or the optical stabilization in the lens. They have the choice of one or the other.
Well, that's great, yeah, and so using the optical stabilization in the lens, that means that when they're looking through the viewfinder, the optical viewfinder, that the image will be stable. They get the benefit of the stabilization while they're framing.
That is correct. They'll be able to see it in advance, the effects of the stabilization. It also helps make for more accurate composition because the image isn't shaking around in the viewfinder, so you can more accurately frame the subject as you wish.
Great. And so what price point is that going to go at? Do you know yet?
I imagine it'll probably sell for under $200.
Great. So if someone wants to buy an SLR, wants a little bit better than an upgrade from the step up from the kit lens, they can buy a body only with this bundled in with it by the dealer.
Exactly so. It's very well made. It's of course like all Sigma products. It's made in Japan, and it's very unique in the fact that it has the internal zooming function.
Oh yeah, and the front element doesn't rotate. So if you have a polarizer filter or something on it, you can zoom and focus without changing the angle of the polarizer.
That is correct.
Great. All right. Well, let's take a look at the next one.
Next one is another of these upscale type kit lenses. It's a 50 to 200 millimeter zoom with a 4 to 5.6 aperture. The optical performance of this new lens will be even higher than the previous models which we've offered, and it will feature both the hypersonic motor for the fast, quiet autofocus and the optical stabilization. So it'll compensate for camera movement at the longer focal lengths when you're under marginal lighting conditions. And again, it will be available for not only Canon, Nikon, and Sigma, but also Sony and Pentax.
And this is one here, we're cheating a little bit on camera. This is actually the 55 to 200, so we couldn't get the 50 to 200 for this. So I think you were telling me, what are the differences in the dimension on the actual unit?
Physical length is about the same, just under 4 inches, but the diameter will be about maybe a half inch wider to accommodate the optical stabilization unit.
Okay, great. And that's coming when?
This I hope by late spring, perhaps April or May.
A little bit sooner than the others. And I'm sorry, did you give me a price on that yet?
No, but I would think it'll probably sell under $200.
Okay, I keep asking these questions I can't answer, but I know we're at early times yet. Great. Well, so that's sort of the we've actually got now a kit solution, upgraded kit solution from 18 to 50 and 50 to 200.
That is correct.
All right, what's next?
Okay, the next one is another optically stabilized lens, and it's for the digital cameras with APS-C sensors. This is our longest range zoom lens. It's an 18 to 250 millimeter lens. It does, as you mentioned, feature the optical stabilization. It also features the hypersonic motor for the quiet, fast autofocus. And it will be available again for Canon, Nikon, and Sigma, as well as Sony and Pentax. And it employs a new philosophy in the mechanical design of the lens. Many of the long-range zoom lenses, and even some of the shorter ranges, they experience something the Japanese call stick and slip. As you're turning the zoom control, you'll find areas within the range where it feels a little stiffer, areas where it's looser. And that has to do with the way the lens is constructed mechanically inside, the pitch of the control cams that move the elements and barrels within the lens. When they're designing these new lenses, these ones that we're describing today, the designers are integrating the philosophy of the optical parameters of the lens and the mechanical parameters, so that when they design the mechanics of the lens, it minimizes this stick and slip characteristic of the zoom lens.
That's really interesting. So the optical designers have actually, rather than just coming up with the optical formula and then making the cam fit, they've actually designed the optical formula to give them a better cam arrangement.
Exactly so.
Wow.
You express it better than I probably describe it all day. And so that's been employed in the 18 to 250 as well as the 50 to 200, the 18 to 50 to 8, and the new 10 to 20.
Okay, great. And these have all been the subframe camera lenses, the APS-C size sensors, and now we've got one that's for the full frame folks.
Yeah, we have a new lens for the full frame cameras, film or digital. It's a new 24 to 70 millimeter f2.8 lens. It's designated as the HSM because it does have the hypersonic motor. In this case, it's the ring-type hypersonic motor, which allows for full-time manual focus, as well as the quiet and fast autofocus. Right? It features a totally new optical design, a little different from what we have in our current 24 to 70 2.8. And Japan feels that the optical performance is even better than that one, that lens, which has been very popular for a number of years. Although physically the lens has been shortened. Okay. This lens will be available in all the popular mounts, Canon, Nikon, and Sigma, as well as Sony and Pentax.
Great, and that's coming when also?
This actually, we just started delivery of it, so it may be on dealer shelves already.
Great,
okay.
And what's it selling for?
It is selling for about $900. So it's somewhat higher than the earlier model 24 to 70, which is current. It is not being discontinued, so the dealer customers will have a choice of either getting the more expensive lens if they really need the optimum image quality in the shorter size, or they can take the physically larger lens at a lower price.
Yeah, and we were talking off camera about the new optical formula they came up with here, that this is a lens you think is really going to compete very favorably and even beat the manufacturer's 24 to 70s.
Right. The engineers at the factory tell us that the optical performance of this lens, especially at 2.8 aperture, will outperform the other lenses on the market, the competitive lenses, including our own, and would be most noticeable in the edges of the picture. So you'll have more even performance from the center to the corners of the picture. Stopping the lens down, of course, there'll be some improvement, but at that point there may be less difference in performance between the other brands. But where it may be most significant at the largest aperture, that's where the biggest difference will be.
Yeah, wide angle is really tough to get it corrected across the whole frame. Well, that's great. 5 really interesting lenses coming soon. But I can't wait to get them into the lab when we get back to SLR gear.
We'll certainly do our best. 24 to 70, we'll probably be able to get to you pretty quick.
Great. Well, thanks very much, Tom.
Thank you.
5 new lenses from Sigma.